My testimony also includes desecration, continued desecration of my family ahu, and burial, which was desecrated many, many times. The desecration began with the university personnel taking my family Pohaku to the dump, where ironically I found it and replaced it. It had been taken again a second time by the same individual, and then he returned it to me. And then after that, it was taken a third time, and it's never been returned. And all the other pohakus that have been given to me to replace have also been taken down. It's been taken down, I don't remember how many times. It currently is not there because it was taken down.
Okay, now you testified, I believe, that personnel of the university have been involved in the removal of your ahu more than one time?
At least 2 times they were directly involved. Mr. Hugh Grossman, who used to work at the visitor center, he took it twice. The first time he took it, I didn't have any idea or any thought, and I had brought my Auntie Kamaka up to do traditional observation at the lake. And I brought her there, and it was gone. So I really did not know, and I did not have any idea it was the university personnel.
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
So you took Auntie
Kamaka
to the place,
Mm-hmm.
and the ahu was gone?
Yes, the Pohaku was gone, yes.
Okay.
And then the next day, I think I saw a red truck near it when I was on my way to work. When I came back down, it was gone again. So I called one of the cooks at Halepohaku and asked them to look in the red truck vehicle, and if there was a rock, to let me know. And he did. He said, yeah, there's a rock. And he said, what do you want me to do? And I said, I'm not sure. And so I actually called the police to describe what had happened, because I really wasn't sure what it would be called. Was it a theft? If it was a whole kupu stone for the mountain, I didn't know.
I see.
Yeah.
But, so you located the truck at Halepohaku,
Mm-hmm.
and a cook went out and looked at it for you and observed the rock inside,
Yes.
and then you called the police.
Yes.
So what was the result of that?
Well, they said to me, someone's taking pohakus from where? And I said, Mauna Kea. And they said, what? And I said, I don't know what to do. And they said, well, first, sister, just go and ask him for it back. And I did explain that I didn't think he understand what he's doing. So they said, go and ask him, and if he does not give it back to you, we will come up there and help you.
I see. Now, were there any other instances that may have involved a Mauna Kea ranger?
Yes.
What is that?
A third instance involving the pohaku given to me by Auntie Iolani Luahini's ohana, belonging to her, that was taken also.
Okay, now that we've established that the university has been involved in some of these removals, do you know if that the university followed any of its rules in order to remove your ahus?
No, there were no rules at that time because it was before the creation of OMKM.
I see.
It's 1998 about.
Okay, so in any of these circumstances, did the university in any way contact you and maybe apologize for what their personnel did to you?
Yes.
And what is that?
Yeah, they did. And they apologized. Mr. McLaren wrote the letter on behalf of IFA, the Institute for Astronomy. He did say that it would not happen again.
And what is this you're putting up on the screen?
This is Mr. McLaren's apology letter. And then...
Does it have an exhibit number?
I think so. It does, I know it does. Okay, B01, I think X. X, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Okay,
And also another letter was written to me by the State Historic Preservation Division. Oh, I'm sorry. This is from Mark Smith, the archaeologist from the State Historic Preservation Division, responding to Dillcare Officer Mr. Weller. Mr. who? Weller, regarding his investigation into this incident.
And what is the subject of this letter?
Just to basically, the archaeologist was explaining that my Pohaku is in the Natural Area Reserve, and I did not disturb any historic features, and that I was not hurting anything. And it should be noted, I want to note that the Natural Area Reserve is completely outside the university's jurisdiction. So my whole family area is in the Natural Area Reserve, the NARS. It's not in the
So are you
university.
saying that the university in well, I can't think of anything else but saying messing around with your ahu was outside their jurisdiction?
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Grossman, when I asked him, he was forced to apologize, and I told him that it didn't need to be an apology to me, but rather to the mountain. And I did ask him, why did he do that? Why would he take it to the dump? You know, at the dump, another man stopped him from throwing it in the dumpster. And I later spoke with that man, and that's who gave it back to me.
I see.
And he said to Mr. Grossman, this Pohaku came from sacred ground. You cannot throw that in the dumpster. And he meant that literally and also spiritually. So he kept it, and he put it by his guard shack. And I just happened to go to the dump and see it there. And I kind of flew out of the car with my hair on fire going, "Whoa, why do you have my Pohaku?" And he said, no, it wasn't me. It was the man in the red state truck. And I told him not to throw it in the dumpster. So that's how...
So you got it back?
That's how I got it back, yes.
Okay. Now, with your experiences with the university, that's the applicant in this contested or in the CUA, would you have an opinion on the applicant's qualification to have a permit issued relative to that CUA?
Well, first of all, the university is... I do not believe the university has a right to involve themselves in anything related to culture, cultural things, disturbance, desecration, any of those things. I believe that that is where our argument about Kapa'akai comes in, that BLNR unlawfully transfers their jurisdiction to the university. The university is nothing but a leasee. So they have the right of use, but not the right of control. Same thing with the road. It's a non-exclusive easement, and it says so in the university's own documents. We heard people testify to the same, that they don't have jurisdiction.
Thank you.
Your description of what happened to your family ahu. So is that connected with your traditional customary practice as a native Hawaiian?
Yes, and I was told that I needed to place it so that I had a place to pule before I ascend into the higher levels of heaven. And so I could connect with my ancestors and ask permission to ascend. And so it's also aligned to the North Star and the rising of the Southern Cross.
And you mentioned, and if I could ask, and who were you told by, if you're willing to answer that? The question is, and who were you told by?
My tutu, my paternal grandmother.
Okay. And we noted that that particular ahu, is that similar to the other types of ahu, the hundreds of ahus that you find up on Mauna Kea?
Yes, the single standing, the kind that are sometimes called, the kane stones, or the hina, the hina and then the ku stone, or the kane, the ahu to kane is what my family went. Yeah.
And so would it be fair to say that the hundreds of other ahus and shrines that you find on Mauna Kea is evidence that your ancestors or the native Hawaiians of old also did similar types of traditional customary practices on Mauna Kea?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. And so in the same context of, were you here at the time when Office of Mauna Kea Management personnel, Mr. Wallace Ishibashi, was providing testimony?
Yes, I was.
And with his dislodging of a similar type of ahu, a shrine associated with Native Hawaiian cultural practices, would you consider that in another form of desecration?
Yes, and I just wanted to say that absolutely, and that I was surprised that Mr. Ishibashi would do that. And the reason why is because what happened to my family, Pohaku, started happening in 1998. The university should have and promise that it would not happen again. And when this happened, I told the Institute for Astronomy director, Mr. McLaren at that time, and the Mauna Kea Support Services manager at that time, who were telling me what I needed to do. And I said, no, I need you to understand that all the kupuna know about this because my auntie was here with me and she knows lots of kupuna. And I said, you need to understand that it's one thing to offend me or my family, but the question is, how do you determine and who is deciding to take down ahus? Some of our ahus have stood there for over 1,000 years. So who is making a decision? They said, well, Kealoha is not personal. And I said, well, I kind of wish it were, because then I could say you had something against me, even though I don't know why. But furthermore, the question is, how are our ahus, our cultural things, bothering anyone? And why should anyone have any issue? I mean, why should someone have an issue with that? It's very small, actually. It means a great deal to myself and my family. But it shouldn't hurt anyone else. So I am shocked that Mr. Ishibashi would think that that would be a reasonable practice to knock them down.